Welcome to the channel. Imagine this, you've just become the king of the United Kingdom, but your new homes come with some rather unusual roommates, ghosts who have been around for centuries. That's precisely what King Charles III found out when he took on some of Britain's most haunted royal residences. Tonight, we're going to explore the fascinating ghost stories that have followed him throughout his life. Each tale you're about to hear comes from credible sources, including paranormal historians, royal staff members, and even accounts from the royal family themselves. So get ready for a chilling yet captivating journey into the world of royal hauntings. Charles Philip Arthur George, born in 1948, has had quite the journey as one of the longest-serving heirs to the British throne. For more than 70 years, he's called some of the most iconic palaces and castles home, places that have been royal residences for nearly 1,000 years. These historic buildings aren't just beautiful, they're steeped in stories. They've seen everything from royal births and weddings to darker events like executions and murders. Take Windsor Castle, for example. It's been a royal home since the 11th century. Then there's Buckingham Palace, which sits on land that used to belong to medieval monks. With such fascinating and sometimes chilling histories, it's easy to see why these places have accumulated far more than just dust over the centuries. So when you think about Charles's life surrounded by these majestic structures, it really puts into perspective what it means to be part of such a storied legacy. The first spooky encounter took place at Sandringham House, the royal family's private estate nestled in Norfolk. It wasn't just any night. It was an experience that truly frightened the future king. Charles found himself in the estate's library, a room filled with ancient books and sturdy wooden shelves that seemed to soak up every sound. That evening, he wasn't alone. One of his trusted footmen was there too, quietly tending to his duties. Everything seemed normal at first. The library was peaceful, with only the soft sound of pages turning and the occasional creak of old wood settling. But then something changed. Both Charles and his footman began to sense they weren't alone anymore. There was a presence in the room with them, something that shouldn't have been there. What happened next was something neither man had ever experienced before. They couldn't shake the feeling that something was moving right along with them amongst the bookshelves. It felt as if someone, or something, was watching them closely. They could even hear soft footsteps on the wooden floors, but when they looked around, there was just the two of them there. The footman, a seasoned man who had spent years in royal households and witnessed all sorts of oddities, was visibly shaken. Even Charles later confessed that the whole experience had terrified him. Whatever presence was in that library with them that night wasn't just there to watch, it seemed intent on making itself known. It followed them around the room, a constant reminder that they weren't alone. Paranormal historian Richard Felix, who has spent years documenting these eerie experiences, reveals that the estate's spooky stories are far from unique. In fact, Sandringham is steeped in supernatural activity, especially in areas where royalty once lived and breathed. Take King George VI, for instance. He spent his last months there before passing away in 1952, and staff members have shared some intriguing tales about the house. Many say some rooms have an unmistakable eerie feeling, especially the bedroom where the king took his final breath. Now let's go to Windsor Castle. Possibly the most haunted royal residence in Britain, provided him with an even more dramatic ghostly experience. The castle's library has been the site of numerous supernatural sightings over the centuries, and Charles would soon join the long list of witnesses. Late one evening, while Charles was alone in Windsor's ancient library, he encountered the ghost of Queen Elizabeth I. The Tudor Queen, who died in 1603, has been a frequent visitor to this particular room for centuries. Her appearances are so well documented that castle staff can tell you exactly where you are most likely to see her. Charles was reading quietly when he became aware of someone else in the room. Looking up from his book, he saw a figure moving between the tall shelves, a woman in period clothing, unmistakably from the Elizabethan era. The figure moved as if she belonged there, completely unaware of, or at least unbothered by Charles's presence. The encounter lasted several minutes, giving Charles plenty of time to observe the apparition. The figure was clearly that of Queen Elizabeth I, complete with the elaborate dress and distinctive appearance that made her one of England's most recognisable monarchs. She seemed to be searching for something among the books, running her fingers along the spines as if looking for a particular title. Charles wasn't the first royal to see Elizabeth I in this exact location. His mother, Queen Elizabeth II, had reported seeing her Tudor namesake in the same library years earlier. Even more incredibly, Charles's grandfather, King George VI, had encountered the ghostly Queen 8 separate times in that very room, all before World War II began. The sightings of Elizabeth I at Windsor Castle go back much further than the current royal family. Historical records from the 19th century describe multiple encounters with her ghost in that room. A place we all know very well is Buckingham Palace. The official residence of British monarchs, presented its own unique challenges. According to paranormal experts, Charles has never been comfortable with this particular palace, and the reason has everything to do with its ghostly residents. The palace is home to the spirit of a medieval monk, a figure that has been seen wandering the halls for decades. This ghost appears wearing the traditional brown robes and hood of his order, his face hidden in shadow as he moves silently through the corridors. The monk's presence is tied to the palace's history. Buckingham Palace was built on land that originally belonged to the monks of Westminster Abbey. Something happened to this particular monk centuries ago, though the exact details remain unknown. What is certain is that his spirit never left the grounds. He's been spotted by numerous people over the years, always wearing his hooded robes, always moving with the slow, measured pace of someone deep in contemplation or prayer. Charles's discomfort with this ghostly presence is well documented. Royal insiders report that he has expressed reluctance about spending time at Buckingham Palace, particularly in areas where the monk has been seen most frequently. The ghost seems to favour the older parts of the palace, areas that would have been closest to the original monastic buildings. The monk's appearances aren't random or fleeting. Staff members have reported seeing him in various parts of the palace, usually during the early morning hours or late at night. He appears solid and real, often causing people to assume he's a living person until he vanishes without explanation. Some witnesses have tried to approach him, thinking he might be lost or in need of assistance, only to watch him disappear before their eyes. One of the most disturbing aspects of Charles's supernatural experiences involved his wife, Queen Camilla, and their encounter with the ghost at Dumfries house in Scotland. Charles had purchased this historic property and was overseeing extensive renovations when they first visited together. What should have been an exciting tour of their new acquisition turned into something far more sinister. Camilla's reaction to entering Dumfries' house was immediate and intense. As she walked up the front steps and entered the main hall, she was overcome by an overwhelming sense of dread. She later described the experience in vivid detail, explaining how she literally froze in place, unable to take another step forward. "I literally froze," Camilla recalled. "If my hair could stand on end, it would have done." The feeling was so powerful and so frightening that she immediately turned around and left the house, declaring that she didn't want to return. And she didn't, for several years. What Camilla had encountered was believed to be the spirit of the Marquess of Bute, the previous owner of Dumfries house. According to paranormal investigators, the ghost was deeply unhappy about the renovations Charles was planning. The spirit seemed to view the changes as an invasion of his territory, and he was making his displeasure known to anyone who entered the house. The spirit had good reason to be protective of Dumfries house. The property contained one of the finest collections of Chippendale furniture in the world, pieces that he had carefully collected and preserved during his lifetime. The thought of these treasures being moved or altered as part of Charles's renovation plans may have been what triggered the ghost's angry response. These experiences have given Charles a unique perspective on the supernatural world that surrounds the British monarchy. Unlike many people who might dismiss such encounters as imagination or coincidence, Charles has lived with these experiences for decades. He understands that the ancient buildings he calls home come with more than just historical significance. They come with residents from centuries past who aren't quite ready to move on. What makes Charles's experiences particularly significant is how well documented they are. These aren't vague family legends or stories passed down through generations of servants. These are specific encounters witnessed by credible people and documented by respected paranormal historians. The consistency of the sightings, particularly that of Elizabeth I, appearances in Windsor Castle's library, suggests that these aren't random hallucinations or wishful thinking. Thank you for watching this Spooky Chronicles production. Click that like button to help push the video out to other viewers. Tap subscribe to join our community. Ring the notification bell and hit that hype button so you never miss another video. And share this video with a friend who swears they don't believe in ghosts. Good night.